a monarch. The saguaro, king of all cactuses, and the royal icon of the American Southwest. Here in the Sonoran Desert is the only place on Earth where the saguaro grows. The home of Saguaro National Park, near the Arizona-Mexican border, there are 91,000 protected acres, bisected by the city of Tucson. In this park, the saguaro is a thirsty monarch, sucking up as much as 200 gallons of water during a rare but torrential desert rainstorm. These royal giants grow slowly, but can reach 50 feet in height, and reign through a lifespan of 150 years. Solid as they appear to be, it is water that makes up most of their weight. They are the most recognized cactus in the world. The saguaro has become a symbol of the American West. Park visitors head out on the Cactus Forest Trail, a desert thoroughfare much used by hikers and bicycles. Hikers must avoid brushing against the spines of the low-growing shrub-like cholla cactus. They bristle with barbed spines, which are painfully difficult to remove once embedded in your flesh. Many desert plants bristle. The agave. Water is so scarce that cactuses protect the water they have stored with sharp spines. The prickly pear. Without these spines, insects, birds, and animals would eat them. At first glance, this expansive desert seems lifeless. Too much sun, too little rain. But a longer look reveals a profusion of wildlife. With the constant scarcity of water, each creature struggles endlessly to stay alive. Water is life. The regal saguaro provides sweet fruit for hungry creatures and homes to birds, such as the Harris hawk and the elf owl, the smallest owl in existence. Like all deserts, saguaro has extreme fluctuations in daily temperatures. Cloudless skies and unshaded ground make a blast furnace of the daytime, while at night, without cloud cover or moisture to hold the heat, bitter cold takes over. Some creatures burrow underground or crawl into rock dens to escape the killer sun of summer and the cold nights of winter. When summer temperatures soar to over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, scorpions exude a coating of wax to seal in moisture, an effective barrier against dehydration. The only known year-round spring is found at King Canyon in the Tucson Mountains. This reliable source of water is often frequented by the collared peccary, a harried wild mammal. They're also known by their Spanish name, javelina. When not sleeping during the heat of day, these members of the New World pig family are found rooting among beds of prickly pear. They're social animals, usually traveling in herds. The king of cactus and profuse wildlife aren't the park's only attractions. Red Hills Visitor Center in the Tucson Mountain District offers an insight to the Native American take on the saguaro cactus. Signal Hill is well worth the hike. Here, some 1,000 years ago, near what is today an inviting picnic area, Native Americans left hundreds of petroglyphs. Though we have never deciphered the meaning of these pictorial records, we feel certain that the prehistoric people who made them hiked in these forests of the saguaros and groves of mesquite, probing the secrets of the desert as we do today. Thus, this seemingly dead earth reveals itself to be a land of life.
Hello, my name is Miss O'Donoghue, and I am going to be reviewing the project that we did today in Miss White's third grade art class. I just showed you a short video introducing the theme of our project for the day, which is the saguaro cacti. So, what I want to have first is my materials laid out. I have my piece of paper. It's vertical. I have it positioned vertically, so that means the short side of my paper is at the bottom. And so the long side is on either side. If I were to change the position of it and the long side would be on the top or bottom, that would be horizontal. But we want our papers to be vertical so that we can draw our really large saguaro cactus for this project. So I wanted to show you that video just to give you some ideas for when we're filling in the background space of our landscapes, just so you have an idea of what different animals or insects or other types of plants you might want to incorporate into your landscape. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to find the center of the page. My center is here, and I'm just going to bring my finger down, and I'm going to make my mark starting somewhere around here. So I'm going to start with a straight vertical line that goes up towards the center of my paper, and then I'm going to bring a little bump and bring it back down. This shape kind of looks like a breadstick, but this is going to be the main focal point for our saguaro cacti. So to make the armatures or the arms of my cactus, I'm going to be using a backwards and a forwards bubble J, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. So I can choose at any point to make these arms that extend off of my cactus. They can go in different directions. I want to have a minimum of 6 arms. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 right now, so I'm going to add 2 more. And, there's no right or wrong way of making these because every cactus is completely different found in nature. No two look the same. So now that I've drawn my cacti with its arms, I'm going to put in my horizon line. My horizon line is going to start near the bottom of my page, the lower half, and the horizon line is a line that goes straight across my page, but I'm making sure that I'm not drawing it through my cactus. The reason why I'm doing that is my horizon line breaks up my foreground, which is the front, and my background, which is the back. So I want to make sure that this line doesn't cut through my cactus so that my cactus is in the foreground of my picture, the front of my picture, and not the background. The next thing I want to do is I'm going to use a soft zigzag line that starts at one side of my page and goes up and down, and same thing, it's going behind my cactus because my mountains are behind my cactus. My mountains are in the background, my cactus is in the foreground, so my cactus is going to be in the front, and my background are going to be made up of these mountains. All right. The next thing that I'm going to do is I am going to add a sun somewhere on my page. I could decide to make it down here or up here. It's completely up to you where you want to put your sun, but I put mine somewhere around here. All right, now that we've drawn more or less the frame of how our composition for our landscape is going to look, I'm going to start putting some details onto my cactus. First, I'm going to start by making a straight vertical line that cuts my cactus down the center, and then I'm going to repeat that 2 more times, just so I'm giving some texture to my cactus. We know that cactus are not smooth, they're textured. They have multiple faces and ridges, and they also have lots of needles. So to show those needles, I'm going to make lots of repetitive marks, short repetitive marks that cut through my entire cactus. And you can see that I'm not making the marks too long because they're supposed to represent the needles on my whole cactus. Okay, so I'm just going to keep doing that. And I'm going to do the same thing with my cactus arms. Okay. So I'm just going around to each one, and I'm making sure I'm adding in those needles and giving my cactus lots of texture to show that it truly is a spiky saguaro cactus. All right. Okay, I'll add some more lines in a little bit, but I want to just show you guys what you need to do first before you start really getting into the nitty-gritty details of filling in your page with color. Okay, so I have my cactus, which is in the foreground. I have my mountain range, which is in the background, and I have my sun, which is also in the background. But I have this area right here in the front that seems pretty blank. So this is an opportunity for you to add whatever details you want that you might want to include in your desert landscape. That was one of the reasons why I showed you that video in the beginning, to get some ideas and inspiration if you're feeling a little bit stuck in terms of what you might want to include. So, for example, I could draw a barrel cactus, which is small and closer to the ground. And barrel cactus, just like the saguaro, have lots of needles that stick out all over our cactus. So we want to show that it's nice and spiky. The next thing that I could include, or maybe I could add some rocks. So I'm just drawing organic shapes, different sizes. Some are pebbles, some are larger rocks. At the bottom of my page, just to really fill in my foreground with detail. And if I wanted to, I could also add a snake. Snakes definitely live in the desert, so I'm going to add a snake, give him a little tail. I could also add some desert flowers to the top of my cactus. But it's really up to you how you want to design your desert landscape. We just want to make sure that we include the saguaro, which is the main focal point for this project, and that you have your horizon line that breaks up the foreground from the background, and that we also have a nice mountain range that is also located in the background of our drawing. So let's see, I could also add some more rocks. But again, you can include whatever you want. You could add a scorpion or a lizard, or maybe you'd like to draw an owl or another type of bird that could be situated somewhere on top or on your cactus. It's completely up to you what you want to add, where you want to add it, and what your landscape is going to look like. Okay, so now that I have my landscape drawn, the next step is to fill it in with color. I'm using some crayons to fill in my background. Okay, so now that I'm filling my background in, first, I am going to make it so I'm drawing and designing a sunset for my desert landscape. So what I did was I took this crayon and I actually peeled the bottom paper off of my crayon so I have more surface area to use for when I'm coloring in. So I want to make sure that with my light yellow or orange, you could choose either color, that you're filling in your full background with the yellow, okay? And you want to try your best to make sure that you're not going over the areas where your cactus is, just in the areas where your background would be. So now that I've filled in my background with yellow, I'm going to go ahead and take out an orange, and I did the same thing where I just tore off a little bit of a paper from the bottom so I have more surface area when I'm using my crayon to make my marks with. And I'm going to start at the bottom, and I'm just layering my orange on top of my yellow from the bottom towards the top of my paper to make it so that I'm slowly building my sunset, okay? So I am just going to use this orange, and I'm going to take it a little past the middle, and I'm going to continue making that gradient between yellow, orange, and then you'll see I'm going to also include pink and red to really build up that space. So I used yellow, orange, this is a scarlet, and a red. You can use any colors that are warm colors on our color wheel. So when we say warm colors, we are talking about yellows, oranges, reds, to use in our background. And like I said, I'm just building it up. So I'm going from our yellow to our orange to our red. I'm actually going to use orange to color in our sun. Okay, fill that in. Oops. Accidentally broke my crayon, but that's okay. So now I feel pretty good about how my background looks for my desert landscape, and I think I'm ready to start coloring in my mountain, my cactus, and my foreground. All right. Right. So that's how I was able to color in my full picture for my desert landscape. And as you can see, everything is colored in. I made sure that I don't have any white space showing in the background. That's really important when you're finishing up your work. And that's when you know that you're at a good stopping point, when everything is colored in. All right, so To submit this, you're going to send it to my email address, which is o'donohues@pcsb.org. It is ODONOGHUES@pcsb.org. I will add that in the post too. And this is how we make our desert landscape. I can't wait to see what you guys submit. All right, see you later.